Hey everybody, welcome to the HBCU Game Day NFL Report. I'm Tolly Carr, along with my girl Symone Stanley. I got my spectacles on. I'm ready to go. We have OTAs popping off this week. Do you like my glasses, Symone?
The glasses was fine. The glasses introduction.
I just give you some softballs so you can just tear me up right out of the gate. I only wear my readers every once in a while. But look, we got a lot of great information. People are excited about our HBCU players and the opportunities they have in the NFL this year. Shaq Davis is a name a lot of people want to know about. He's down with the Saints with OTAs starting this week. Talk about Shaq Davis.
Shaq Davis, wide receiver out of South Carolina State University. He signed an undrafted free agent deal with the Saints that included $216,000 in guaranteed money, showing that the Saints are really invested in Shaq. And now is an exciting time for the Saints to be an incoming young player because they have a new quarterback coming to town, meaning they're going to have a brand new offense. Carr comes over from the Las Vegas Raiders. So you have a new quarterback coming to a new team. That's a good time for a wide receiver because he doesn't already have those pre-established targets and those pre-established go-to guys. So he's fresh as a quarterback, and the wide receiver room is fresh, even though there are some returning stars and Chris Olave, Michael Thomas, and Rashid Shaheed.
Rashid Shaheed. That sounds like first name.
Right. First name flipped to a last name. So there's already some star power in the wide receiver room, but it's plenty of space for Shaq to come in with his 6'4" frame, 215 pounds, as a big target to make a name for himself down in the bayou.
All right, Symone, you follow the NFL a lot. They can catch you, Symone, with the sports on YouTube and social media. How important is the room that these rookies are going into, whether you're offensive lineman, a running back, a wide receiver? The quality of other players, it kind of cuts two ways, right? It talks about the opportunities you might have to play, but also the opportunities to learn from a vet.
Yeah, you definitely want to have some veterans in the room that are welcoming. You're a rookie. You're fresh. College is totally different from the NFL, so you want to have guys that are opening and welcoming and are willing to help you learn at that position, and you can't take that for granted. Not all veterans, of course, want to help the young guys because that young guy could come in and take their spot. So Chris Olave is coming into his second year, but he got a lot of time as a rookie with the Saints last year. Michael Thomas, as we know, is a former star in the league. He battled a lot of injuries, so he's still coming back, but I'm sure he has a wealth of knowledge to share with Shaq Davis. So he's got a good room around him.
And I surely would have said Chris Olive just reading that.
And that's why I read it. I made that mistake. When he came out the draft, I called him all types of names. But now I know after the game against the Eagles, I'll never forget Chris Olave.
That's why she's official. Symone over here. All right, let's go down to South Miami. We got Aubrey Miller Jr. Look, he made all the noise at Jackson State University. People excited about his prospects. He's with the Miami Dolphins now. OTAs getting underway this week. What can you tell us about Aubrey Miller Jr.?
Yeah, so Aubrey Miller, he is down in South Beach with the Miami Dolphins. He signed a rookie undrafted free agent contract worth $2 million, $2.7 million. Over $100,000 fully guaranteed. Now, that linebacker room is led by star Bradley Chubb and Jerome Baker, who do lead the room. But Miami is specifically looking for strength in the inside linebacker room where Aubrey Miller is projected to be playing on the NFL level. He is slightly undersized to be, the inside linebacker taking all them boom, boom, boom hits going up against those big body running backs and tight ends. So we will continue to monitor that, especially with those spectacles.
They are Gucci, at least. I got that going for me. Hey, even in silence, you just cut to
Oh,
the
you
ball.
meant literally Gucci. I
Yeah.
thought you were saying like they're cool. I thought you were saying Gucci like
no,
cool.
literally.
Oh, okay.
Literally. If I have to get glasses, I'm at least going to look good.
Okay.
All right. Aubrey Miller Jr. is a thumper. He was a thumper at Jackson State. But, when you get to the pros, everybody's a thumper. How do you measure a kid, that has heart, that has that authentic, kind of dog mentality in college to overcome the odds when it comes to the measurables?
Hit stick. You call it a thumper, I call it a hit stick. And Aubrey Miller, what we saw in college, he has the hit stick. The tackling is something that you can't teach. And the fundamentals, even if you're an undersized guy, if you have those fundamental tackling skills, sound, which Aubrey Miller does, that will make up a lot for your size. Because you see some bigger guys who kind of let their size they lose their fundamentals and try to let their size overcompensate for their lack of skill.
Right.
So usually the smaller guys have to overcompensate with the fundamentals because they don't have that mass to make up for it. So Aubrey Miller, like we saw, fundamental tackler, he has the hit stick, wraps guys up, brings them down. So that's something that could easily translate to the NFL level.
All right, one of our favorite names, a favorite player for many of us, Jadakis Bonds. Symone's still not familiar with the locks or Jadakis. I don't know what's going on there. But Jadakis, coming out of Hampton, he signs with the Green Bay Packers. Let's talk about him and his prospects.
Jadakis Bonds, a guy that I at least talked about a lot before the draft. I expected him to do, and he still has a chance to do big things in the NFL. Thought this was a guy that was going to be drafted just because of his red zone threat ability. Jadakis Bonds, like we said before, he signed or didn't sign with the San Francisco 49ers right after the draft.
He said he didn't.
He said he didn't. Some Niners insiders said he did. So I don't know what was muddled in between there. But he ended up at the Washington Commanders rookie minicamp. But then he ended up signing with the Green Bay Packers, which is, again, like I said about Shaq Davis, a great spot for Jadakis Bonds because the Green Bay Packers are starting over, out with Aaron Rodgers, in with Jordan Love, a young quarterback who's taken over the reins. And again, Jadakis Bonds now has a chance to make his impression on a young quarterback. Jordan Love doesn't have his favorite targets or those guys he's comfortable throwing to. So that's a perfect opportunity for a young wide receiver to come in the NFL and make a name for themselves. So they do have that one really star in the wide receiver room is Christian Watson, who's coming into his second year. And he was a small school wide receiver as well. He went to North Dakota State University and he popped off with the Packers. Jadakis Bonds, being a small school guy as well, has that opportunity. They did have Allen Lazard, who was their top wide receiver. He ended up following Rodgers to the Jets, which is even better for Jadakis Bonds because there's more targets.
Jadakis is already well-traveled before we even get to OTAs. But he just seems like a guy that he's looking for the right and perfect opportunity, and he's like, look, I'm just not here to say, I got an invitation. Like he's making it happen.
And Jadakis Bonds, I don't know who his agent is, if it's him, if it's a family member, but Jadakis Bonds came out on top when it comes to the perfect situation because you see some undrafted free agents end up signing with a team that the room is already full, that the stars are already established. It's kind of like, dang, how did they end up there? Like I said, this is outside of Christian Watson, it's a lot of question marks in the wide receiver room with the Packers. If he got that invite with the Washington Commanders, but that wide receiver room with the Commanders is full. So shout out to Jadakis Bonds because from the looks out of it, he came out on top.
And, everybody wants to get drafted, right? Because that's a great title to have. Hey, I got drafted. But if you're, late 6th, 7th round, a lot of times it's better to be an undrafted free agent because you have more control, especially if you have multiple teams interested in you. You can go to a place where you might have a better opportunity to play, right?
Exactly.
All right. That's what happens when you wear your spectacles. Say smart stuff. All right, let's talk about
Was that smart? That was pretty common knowledge. I said all the smart stuff.
I tried. Let's talk about Emmanuel Wilson. You did. He's with the Packers, Fort Valley State University running back. We kind of caught up with him. He was in Charlotte working out over at Johnson C. Smith. Talk about his opportunities and what you might see from him.
So Emmanuel Wilson, like you said, former Fort Valley State University star running back. He is with the Green Bay Packers, like we said, with Jadakis Bonds. So those guys are there together. He started off with the Broncos in their rookie minicamp, ended up signing with the Packers where he is now. And the Packers, they have 2 stars in their running back room. Usually a running back room has 1 star. The Packers have 2 stars in their running back room, and Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, who lately have really been the heartbeat of not only the Packers, but the Packers offense. So it's look a little crowded, but outside of AJ and Aaron, it's very top heavy. There is still room to fill out depth at the bottom of the running back room. So Emmanuel has an opportunity there. And then, of course, we can't negate special teams. When he talked to our Wally Pitt ahead of rookie minicamp, he was telling Wally how he has his mind focused on special teams because that's where he feels like he can come in and instantly have an impact.
I mean, that's what I was going to bring up. You know, not only special teams, but the ability to block. And there's so many other things a running back can do besides carry the ball.
Your glasses are talking.
Well, thank you, Symone. Appreciate that. And it's good that he has that self-awareness. It's like, look,
exactly.
I got to get
some guys think they're too good for special teams, even though special teams is a huge part of the game. It can even lose you a Super Bowl.
But what's the deal with the kickoff, Symone? If they take away the kickoff, that is a thing that could eliminate maybe what?
Who's taking away a kickoff?
You know, the NFL is talking about getting rid of the kickoff.
Well, I only could see that just because it's extremely violent.
Right.
But even with the punt return, it's lethal as well. It's a guy in our division.
Yeah.
Tearing it up.
Trying to look at all the avenues for those guys to keep working. All right, let's talk about somebody who he worked in college. He worked for A&T. He worked for North Carolina Central. Man, I don't know how he worked out that rivalry there. But
right.
Ricky Lee, offensive lineman, as of right now, he's trying to make a living with the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, so Ricky, Carolina boy through and through. He went to Central, trickled down the highway. I'm a Carolina girl, but I don't know the highways. I wasn't driving when I was growing up. What's the highway?
You're going from
Durham to Greensboro.
Oh, I-40.
I-40. So he traveled down I-40 to A&T, then he kept traveling down to Charlotte. So he's been all around the Carolinas.
Got a little 85 action in there.
Now you get them glasses getting too specific.
You asked about the highways. I'm a North Carolina boy. I know my highways.
So
don't ask me how to get around Atlanta. I'm still GPSing 5 years later. But anyway.
So, yeah, he merged into another highway, and now he's in Charlotte. So, he's been all over the Carolinas. He's with the Carolina Panthers. So, Ricky Lee had a minicamp invite with the Panthers and turned that minicamp invite, like we talked last time, which is an extreme honor because that's a big feat to turn that minicamp invite into an undrafted free agent contract. So, he flipped that. So, shout out to Ricky Lee. We are going to be rooting for him, offensive tackle.
And what, a three-year deal? Is that what?
Yeah, he got a 3-year deal, $3 million. None of the money guaranteed, but just got to keep putting in that work.
Tepper's got it now.
You said what?
Tepper's got the money.
Yeah.
You know, he'll be good for it. That check will be good. So we wish him the best. But what about the situation there in Carolina? You got a brand new rookie quarterback. Protection is imagine what they want to do.
Right. So that is
for
true.
Any quarterback, but
especially a rookie quarterback, and especially a rookie quarterback that's so small. Like Bryce Young, he's going to need a lot of protection. So they obviously see a lot in Ricky Lee to have him coming in and being one of those guys up front to protect what they hope is the future of the Panthers and Bryce Young. So he has a tall task.
When these general managers start making decisions, you know that one extra roster spot could go to this room or this position. When they try to figure out their depth, I would imagine with the rookie quarterback, could be some emphasis and some conversations about, look, as many spots as we can get on that O-line, let's do that in case somebody goes down there. We're not dealing with a situation that will quickly trickle down to the quarterback.
Look at those glasses.
All right. Okay. I'm just going to take them off.
Putting in a lot of work. They smoking?
It's just too much now.
That thing's got to be smoking, all the work they've been doing today.
but this could be advantageous for possibly. I mean, we're not the GMs of the
right,
of the Carolina Panthers,
but you beg a big point. The Carolina Panthers, if I'm them, my biggest focus is protection of Bryce Young. Anytime you have a rookie, you want to protect that rookie, especially when you have one who's supposed to be a generational talent like Bryce Young. So if I'm Ricky Lee, I'm feeling really good about myself because I know that all the Panthers are thinking about is Bryce Young. But when it comes to that, all they're thinking about is the trenches in front of him.
All right. So we wish all of our guys luck. That's not the entire comprehensive list of
That's not everybody.
We're just putting it into digestible content, the names that have been percolating on our website that you guys really have shown interest in. But We'll be back from week to week to keep you up to date. And as always, you can get the full scoop at HBCUGameDay.com. OTAs getting underway. And Symone, things are a little different this year. The cuts are happening more at once as opposed to cut here, cut there. It's all coming down to the final preseason game this year, right?
Yes, it was usually a mandatory cut after each preseason game. Now it's one cut deadline after the final preseason game. So rosters, you can keep a 90-man roster up until about the end of August instead of having to cut it down throughout August. So,
and that's a little more opportunity.
Yes, it's a little more opportunity because you get more chances to show what you have. Instead of just one preseason game, you know, you have a blunder, you don't get that many minutes. You get more opportunities to show what you have. So that's a good thing. All
right. Find her online, Symone with the sports. That's with, W-I-T-H, right?
Yes.
Not Symone with the sports.
Come on, glasses.
I'm just, for the people. The people have questions. I know the answers already, but the people have questions. She does a great job keeping up with all things Philadelphia sports there, and, of course, she has a home here at HBCU Game Day as well. For Symone, I'm Tolly here from the Atlanta studios. We'll talk to you guys soon.